The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
Welcome to your Monday. How's everybody doing, man? How we doing out there? Did you guys have a good weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend? Ah, yes. I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be a good week, man. Got a lot to do, a lot to get into, a lot going on. And maybe we should start with how about Team USA? Hey, Trev, where you at? Where's all the Canadian Nerd Avengers at? Hey, Canada. Canada, listen. Listen to me, Canadian fans, okay? This is like the scene in Office Space where the Bobs come in and they're like, what would you say you do here, Canada? Because isn't that like your sport? Isn't that like y'all's thing? Like do you guys, like, what would you say you do here, Canada? Like, seriously. In your face, Deadpool! Yeah, get fucked, Deadpool! Seriously, how bad was that, man? What the hell? What the hell's going? Hey, what the hell's going on here? Be nice? Okay, yeah, I'll try. You know, it's not really in my nature, but I'll try. Starbucks, this says, dude, loved your last live where you got super mad at Diego and called him out. LMAO, Diego sucks. Papa Josh is pretty good at knowing his stuff. Why you even got to bring that up? You know what I mean? I'm not proud of it. You know? I'm not proud of that shit. Hey, by the way, we adjusted the camera. I'm probably going to adjust the camera again. I'm just trying to get it right. I actually feel like if we shifted it just a little bit, it would be like damn near perfect. But yeah, we're adjusting things. We're trying to figure it out. You know, it was bright, and now it's not bright anymore. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But yeah, it makes you happy. Jeez, man. What if Diego came in today and the whole time he was like, man, I wonder if Josh is going to talk more about like what happened on Friday. It's really awkward. That was really stupid. I hated it. But hey, look, I still like the content. So it's fine as long as it doesn't become a thing. And you fucked that up, man. You ruined that. You ruined that for Diego. You ruined that for Diego. You ruined that for me. So thanks a lot, bud. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How was the weekend? Let me catch up on a couple of these other ones here. Rossi, thank you for the rose. It's Elijah. I don't know why it messes my name up. I know, because it always says Melvin O. Melvin O? Elijah, has your name always been Emo Melvin O? And you picked Elijah because you thought it was a better name? But your name is actually E.O. Elvin Melvin O. Says, what up, Josh? It's Elijah. I don't know why it keeps messing my name up. I got the day off so I can catch a stream live. Let's get nerdy. Oh, we're going to get nerdy today. Oh, we going to get nerdy today. Yes, sir. There is only one Melvin dude. Melvin, you motherfucker. So Braden is Melvin. Now I know Braden is Melvin. This is crazy because I thought it was two people that I couldn't fucking stand in the community, but now it's just one person and it's you. The internet, full of mysteries. Mr. Memories says, in your face, Deadpool. Hell yeah. And then Rashi says, nothing will ever look as good as the kitchen. And 6 different people like that comment. Dude, y'all better not like that fucking comment. You better go adjust your TV settings, fix that shit. I don't want to see none of that. Fuck that. Okay? This office is great, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to make it look really good. Did you see the Evangelion announcement? I did. That seems really cool. I don't know. So I was kind of like surprised by it. I need to look a little bit more into the announcement, but overall it seems really cool, man. More Evangelion. The guy that wrote, or the guy that created Nier is doing it. Seems to have a good animator. I don't know much about what it could be. So it's after the last Impact? Like, because the ending of Evangelion is fucking wild, bro. It's like hard to even try to explain what happened at the end of that shit. Did you brush your teeth today? Yeah, I brushed my teeth today. I brush my teeth first thing when I wake up, always. Because I don't like the grossness of, I guess, when you're asleep or whatever. But some people are not like that. You know what's funny? So Mr. Oopsie Poopsie brings up a kind of interesting existential question here, chat. Do you brush your teeth? And I'm asking you, chat. Do you brush your teeth before you have breakfast or after? Some people will not brush their teeth until after breakfast because they don't like the taste of the toothpaste. Yeah, my wife is like this. Because honestly, I can't believe that. When I wake up, I like immediately need to get the gross taste out of my mouth, and I'm like, and actually, to be honest with you, I usually don't brush my teeth immediately after breakfast because I don't care. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, see, some people do it after. Some people are like that. They're like, nah, man, like I can't have the toothpaste taste when I eat breakfast, and then I'll just brush my teeth after that. Isn't that interesting? After I brush my teeth right when I wake up because it gives me gag, mouthwash. Yeah, you're supposed to before you eat. Interesting. Sometimes both. Yeah. Toothpaste and OJ slaps. So I usually have coffee before I have breakfast anyways. So maybe for me, it's like the because I have coffee black. I like the flavor of coffee a lot. So maybe it's like I just have the coffee and that overtakes all the toothpaste like taste, residual taste. Like, dude, coffee tastes like, well, fucking slam that right out of there. And maybe it's just I don't notice it as much. And then by the time I have breakfast, I don't have the taste in my mouth anymore. I don't know. We've opened up a whole can of worms here. I feel like we've opened up a whole can of worms here. Wake up straight to the gym protein shake, then you brush? Damn, dude, priorities. This guy's got priorities, man. Yeah, you just need to rinse the toothpaste. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Loki. Yes, Loki lover. What up? Yeah, we're going to get into some Loki today. So, guys, here's the topics for the day, okay? I got to gush a little bit about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I just got to yap about it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be 10 minutes or something, but I just want to gush about it. Think the show's fucking great. Loved the finale last night, and I'm excited for Thrones in general, man. We cover a lot of nerdy stuff here, and we're going to cover a lot of nerdy stuff. I want to do some Invincible content. I want to do a whole bunch of content. We love the nerdy shit, obviously. And Thrones has always been a big part of that. And dude, kudos to them. They're doing really well. This was a good season, and I think the fans are engaged. I think fans are excited. And also, Hot D right around the corner. So, dude, Game of Thrones coming out strong at the beginning of this year. So we'll gush a little bit about that. Then we're going to talk about this new Loki rumor. It says here in my notes, it shocked the fandom. Fans, are you shocked? You better fucking say yes, because we're all shocked about it. I'm going to clear it up. Don't worry. Fantastic Four post-credit scene. Steve Rogers was going to be in Fantastic Four, but it got cut, and now we know stuff about Fantastic Four and Steve Rogers. So we'll talk about that. Hey, guys, does that shock you? The thing about Steve Rogers is fucking better. Wonder Man viewership is crazy fucking low. Like, it's really bad, really bad. I have in my notes here. Make sure Kaylin is present. We will talk about that. In all seriousness, I'm not trying to go super hard on Wonderman. It's fine if you like the show. But I do want to point out what Luminate reported, because shockingly bad numbers for Wonderman. And also, too, people are trying to spin this. It's crazy, dude. We live in a world where motherfuckers are actually out there trying to spin these numbers. So I got to stop that. I just got to clear it up for you guys so you know what it is. Genuinely, guys, there is nothing wrong with enjoying Wonder Man. Legit. Nothing wrong with it. You like that show? You love that show. Fucking fine. Cool. Good for you. Bob's your uncle. But if we're going to have a conversation about what Marvel should be doing, what's reacting, like what are the fans reacting to, what is actually making numbers out there, you know, you talk about 13 million viewers an episode on Dunk and Egg. When I break down these Wonder Man numbers, like, it will become abundantly clear how abysmally bad these numbers are. It's not the end of the world, but it's important because it's like, yo, maybe we should be making other kind of superhero content. You know what I mean? So we're going to get into that. And then, chat, I have the most insane theory I've ever had about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is the most schizo, out there, outlandish, fucking Josh dialed up to 11, the craziest, most ridiculous theory that I've probably ever had. It's so ridiculous that I almost dare not speak it to you. But I will spake it to you. So we're going to do that at the end of the show. So that's the agenda. That's what we got going on today. And I'm excited. We'll get into it very shortly. But, yeah, before we do, anything else? What else is going on? How was the weekend for y'all, man? How about the USA, baby? How about Sean Strickland, dude? Strickland looked locked the fuck in, huh? I gotta adjust my chair. Sorry, I'm showing cake. Sorry, I'm showing my buttocks. I'm like those female streamers on Twitch throwing cake to get the numbers up. Give it to me, Rachel. What the fuck? Bowling was great. Yeah. Heather should have been Heather should have been in Wonder Man for the numbers, huh? Oh, hey, couple other things. I gotta spank it. I'm gonna spank it. I'll spank you too. Okay, listen, Linda. A couple of things going on this week. Number one, I'm working on the Iron Man recap video. We did our deep dive stream a couple of weeks ago with the Nerd Avengers. It was great. I've watched Iron Man 1 so goddamn much recently. It's crazy. So working on the breakdown video for that. That'll be releasing soon. Couple of cool things I want to do this week for the members. I want to deep dive on X-Men, the first X-Men movie. Just like we did with Iron Man 1, we're going to do a deep dive on the first X-Men movie. And I want to do a stream for members where we do that together. We sort of like go through it. It's kind of like an EFAP, but not quite. It's like a deep dive breakdown. So I want to do that with the members. But here's what I want to do. I want to move that to Saturday. Okay, so Saturday at 11, we will do that stream. So that'll be for members only because, like, it was cool doing it on Friday a couple of weeks ago, but there was news. People wanted to talk about it. Kind of threw off the week. So, you know, we're kind of adjusting how we're approaching all of this stuff going into 2026. And this week, we're going to try it. We're going to try it a little bit differently. So pretty much standard week. Sort of a standard week. I'll explain in a second. But standard week of streams, and then we'll do that deep dive stream for the members on Saturday. So if you remember, come on by for that. I'm actually like excited. Like the more I've been deep diving and going back and looking at all the Marvel stuff, I'm getting pumped up. Doomsday, you know, Doomsday's a year away, but the reality is Doomsday is a pretty big movie. I don't know if you all knew this, right? So Doomsday is kind of a big movie, kind of a big deal. I'm like weirdly getting hot. I'm gonna have to strip all my clothes off. So sorry. Doomsday, big movie. Maybe you heard of it. Have you heard of Doomsday? Did you hear of it? They had a goddamn billion views on their trailers. Of course you heard of it. Shut the fuck up. The point is this. And now you're pissing me off. The point is this. I'm a Marvel YouTuber. Okay? I came onto the scene around the time of Infinity War and Endgame. Channel blew up because of Infinity War and Endgame, okay? Shit has not been the same since Infinity War and Endgame. Okay? It's been fucking rough out here. We're out here grinding. We're out here trying to make content, keep you entertained. And the Hat Man's fucking it all up, okay? Not really, but like kind of, you know? And the point is this. We finally have good shit happening again. Seems to be a really important, really big, really awesome Marvel movie that seems to want to tie all of the canon together. I mean, yeah, you're goddamn right. I'm going to make a shit ton of content about it and get excited about it as we get towards the movie. So that's what we're doing. And genuinely, the more I get into this experience, I really, really dig it. I'm into it. I'm having a good time. And we're going to continue that with the X-Men movie. Looking back at X-Men will be interesting. This is kind of the X-Men we're going to see in Doomsday, which I'll explain more when we get into the deep dive or whatever. So it'll be kind of fun to go back, look at that film, not only to recap it and remember it, but to see maybe what some of the writers for Avengers Doomsday might be pulling out of that to pay off in that movie, because that is absolutely something that the writers in that parliament do for Marvel. So we'll get into that. However, that's not even the coolest shit that's going on. Okay? It's pretty cool, but it's not the coolest shit that's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, the coolest shit that's going on is, of course, Warhammer. And it's time, chat. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. It's time. Tomorrow, no regular stream in the morning. We're going to stream at night. Probably like 6. Probably 6. Not sure. But we're going to have a stream tomorrow, and it is 100% a Warhammer stream, completely dedicated to Warhammer on this very channel. So, if you are Warhammer curious, or, you know, you're one of the nerd Avengers that has realized that Warhammer is so dope and you've gotten into it, come on by tomorrow. It'll be cool. 11th edition, TLDR for you guys. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow. The TLDR is this. Warhammer is about to enter a new edition. We're about to go into 11th edition, and it's basically a great time for people to be getting into Warhammer. And so tomorrow night on stream, we'll talk about what to expect from this. I'll kind of talk about my experience coming into the hobby, because I came into the hobby late 9th edition. So I experienced, like, one of the very first things I experienced as a fan was changing from 9th to 10th. So I kind of know what that's about. And we'll talk about it. I'll break some stuff down. It's going to be super nerdy. If you're not into Warhammer, like, just don't come. Seriously, it's not a stream for you. But if you're into Warhammer, if you like Warhammer, if you like just me yapping about stuff that I'm into, come on by tomorrow night. It'll be fun. I don't know how long it'll be. It'll be like an hour, hour and a half. Maybe we'll go for 2 hours or whatever. And I will also be clipping out portions of tomorrow's stream for another channel that I'm starting. But I'll explain all of that tomorrow as well. But yeah, I mean, the honest to God truth is, look, I know it's kind of like memes here. I know some of you guys are really resistant to it or whatever. But I genuinely love Warhammer. I'm not going to stop being into Warhammer. I want to make Warhammer content. There's a lot of people in the community that are like, dude, I'm actually like with you. I'm having a lot of fun with Warhammer. Star Wars is kind of fucking lame to talk about. Even Marvel gets old. I want more Warhammer content, Josh. Like, let's have fun with Warhammer together. We're going to start doing that. And that all starts tomorrow night. So I'm excited. We'll do that tomorrow. If you're interested, come on by. If you're not interested, just avoid the stream. Just don't come. In fact, I don't want you to come. You come in, you start talking shit about Warhammer, you're banned forever from everything. You're even banned from things that I don't have control of. I'll figure it out. So it should be fun, man. It's going to be good tomorrow night. I'm actually excited. Genuinely. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait for the female custodian lore. Oh, wait, there is none. Yes, that's true. Get it all out of your system now because you're not invited tomorrow. Zach says, much love to Avengers. I'm just popping in from work to show some love and gush about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I can't wait for season 2. Much love, Josh. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Zach. Thanks for the 10 spot, man. And yeah, I too really enjoy Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's refreshing. It's cool. It's getting me back in the Game of Thrones mode, man. I'm actually feeling like getting those novellas, maybe reading the graphic novel. Like I'm actually like it's kind of working. It's a beautiful thing to see, IP and franchising actually work. Because it's like, again, like I think one of the things that's kind of funny about A Night of the Seven Kingdom is it kind of shows that a lot of people just want to enjoy their content. Like people just want to enjoy their content, and if you just let them enjoy the content and you have fun stuff, yeah, I think that shit works. So we'll gush about it in just a second. Heather, female custodians, Gaia in 2026. Much love. Yeah, no. So yeah, it's awesome. It's good, really funny. I was hoping they gave Spider-Man the wide eyes. What does that mean? I must be missing what you are saying there, sir. Banned from everything all at once. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Josh, fun fact, the last time Avengers movie, Spider-Man, and Star Wars premiered in the same year, all hit over 1 billion. Will we see the same this year? I don't think so. And I think there'll be one glaring exception to the rule. There'll be one property in particular, one film, one over-commercialized Baby Yoda that will show us just how rough that shit is, man. Ooh. Woo. Woo, girl. Woo. Yeah, I don't think so, bud. But yeah, it's good to remember back to the good times, huh? It's good to remember back to the good times, for sure. So, Spidey, isn't it Doomsday because of the spell, right? Maybe. I don't know. Is Toby really dying early, or will Loki save him? Because to lose Toby going through Doomsday and Secret Wars would suck. Oh, dude, yeah. Look, I don't know for sure, but I think they're going to rip your heart out on that one. I think so. I think Toby's done for. It's too bad. It's too bad. Zach, thank you for a gifted membership. Isn't it because Sony has Spider-Man rights now? I don't know. Maybe. Something like that, yeah. All right, let's gush a little bit about this. So, look, man, I need to gush a little bit about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Y'all watch this, chat? Did you watch the series? Did you watch the finale? Are you one of the many people that got into the show a little bit later on? Because that really does seem to be something that happened. And I think it's actually kind of cool. It speaks to that whole water cooler talk, building word of mouth, allowing the thing to cook. I don't really think that this show just like immediately took over. I think I did watch it. I think maybe I watched it the second week. I had heard like the first episode was good. Then I kind of heard, second episode, like real good. Like, yo, this shit's awesome. So I kind of got into it a little bit later on. And I think a lot of people did because you could look at the viewership and it seems to have ticked up and up. Warner Brothers, by the way, was suggesting that the viewership has grown to the point that it's averaging around 13 million viewers day of basically when the thing releases, which is like huge, especially like in today's day and age. Like that is absolutely a big deal. So last night they had the finale and I would expect it was a big hit. I certainly checked it out. I think a lot of you checked it out as well. I've been seeing even like people in our Discord talking about how they're now going back to watch Game of Thrones and getting into Game of Thrones, which is to me is kind of wild because you would think, isn't everybody already into Game of Thrones? Didn't everybody already watch Game of Thrones? But not really. Even some of the biggest shows ever still have not captured like everybody in the zeitgeist. And Thrones even has room to grow. I think Thrones has room to grow. So this is kind of a cool time. Now, the finale itself, not like crazy. It follows the pattern of like the old Game of Thrones show, where it used to be the case that I believe episode 8 or 9, I'm forgetting exactly which one, but that was the one that was like shocking. That was like your Red Weddings, your Battle of the Bastards. Like the crazy episodes would be episode 8 or 9. Then you would have like an epilogue episode. You would have like, oh shit, this just happened. We're gonna sort of sit in it for a little bit and set up what happens next. And that's exactly what happened last night. So episode 5 was the really crazy one where Baelor dies. And then in episode 6, you kind of get the epilogue to the tournament, some setup for future stuff. And then ultimately, you know, I guess spoilers or whatever, Dunk and Egg do end up going out together, Knight and Squire. So really awesome. The people that created the show have talked about how they want to get right to work. They think they can turn around season 2 in 2027, which is supposed to be in Dorne, by the way. That's something they kind of tease at the end of the show, but the writer for the show also confirmed that they're probably going to go to Dorne, and that's really cool. I've never read these novellas, and I haven't really read the graphic novel, despite, I guess, I've seen some panels and whatnot, but I haven't sat there and actually read the thing. But from what I understand, there are 3 novellas, kind of 3 separate time periods, 3 separate sort of story arcs that make up the tale of Dunk and Egg. And apparently, this was said by the writer, apparently she has a story that even goes past that even goes past the 3rd novella. So there's even a chance that we actually get a story past that, and they do like a lot of seasons of this show. But for now, what it seems like is the show's a big hit. They're at least doing the 2nd season, and probably do, I don't know, up to 5 seasons, kind of what it looks like now, maybe even more if they go past the story of the novellas. Another thing that was kind of cool about last night was they, of course, show the trailer for House of the Dragon, which looked pretty good. You know, a lot of us watched it either on our phones or whatever, or computers when it dropped in the week. But when I sat down to watch, you know, the finale of Night of the Seven Kingdoms last night, saw the trailer on the OLED big screen. Looks really good. So looked better. And I'm excited for that. That is right around the corner as well. So A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, kind of coming out of nowhere, wasn't really on my radar going into 2026. Big hit. I had a ton of fun with the series. It's made me re-engage with the Game of Thrones franchise. Makes me want to get the graphic novels. Makes me want to read these novellas. And I'm genuinely more excited for House of the Dragon because of this. So kind of wild. Now, one other thing that happened that we want to touch on here, and then I want to see what Chad is thinking. You know, did you guys watch it? Are you excited for the future? Because again, I'm genuinely pretty excited for the future of A Song of Ice and Fire and these different things, because it seems like somehow, some way they're figuring it out. You know, they're making good content. If they can kind of smooth over the stuff with George and House of the Dragon, that'll be good. But House of the Dragon's probably only like a couple of more seasons at most, and it's really telling, you know, one chunk of the story, which is really important. But I don't think Game of Thrones even lives and breathes by how like good or bad House of the Dragon is from here. I think it's reached sort of an acceptable level of quality for a lot of the fans. Maybe it's not the best, maybe it's not the worst, but as long as it kind of carries over and doesn't completely fall apart like the original series, I think they're good. There's other things being cooked, the play, the movies, possibility of Jon Snow stuff, Arya stuff in the future. The future seems bright. But in the middle of all of this too, there was a situation with Breaking Bad, and there was a situation with review bombing. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of saw this going down a little bit, and it was how do I say this? I wasn't really that dialed in. I didn't really care that much. But apparently it just got like more and more crazy, where, you know, you had Game of Thrones fans going to review bomb Breaking Bad. Then you had Breaking Bad fans go to review bomb episodes of Game of Thrones to sort of drag them down. It got to the point that HBO and the Game of Thrones social media account actually released a full video that's a meme that kind of makes fun of the situation. But I did think that was kind of worth talking about, because it's so clearly become a thing. And I do think it sort of shows you a side of reviewing and review bombs, because like whenever something gets review bombed, right, we always get into this debate of like, okay, but is that natural? Does that actually speak to the quality of the thing? And it kind of looks like no. But at the same time, it is an indicator of something. Like if you've somehow earned the scorn of some online fan base that wants to come in and give you a bad review or review bomb you, you have fucked up in some way. You know what I mean? At least I think so. This situation, though, kind of shows something a little bit different, because it's like, I don't think either one of these companies really fucked up. Like, literally, all they did was make content that was so universally loved that it got very close to being perfect on IMDb. Like, that's legitimately all they did. And it's you fuckers, the fans, that are kind of proving this whole point of like, oh shit, like this really isn't actually, like, you guys are kind of a wild mob of chaos. And it's beautiful. It's also kind of crazy and fucked up. So that was kind of just a funny situation. It just shows you something about modern fandom. If there's a lesson in there, it's for a wiser man than I. But I'd certainly think there's a couple of takeaways you could walk away from with regards to that situation. So anyways, chat, there you have it. Me yapping about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Did you guys watch it? Do you feel the same way that I do? Are you pumped about A Song of Ice and Fire? Like, are you getting excited about this, or nah, shit's not for you? And what do you think of the reviewers, man? Like, that is a pretty wild, that's a pretty wild situation, no? John Paradis, welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdvenger now. Yeah, BB reviewers just didn't like the episode beating it. LOL, super petty. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened, right? Because Ozymandias, I think, was the episode, which, by the way, is the one that, like, Ryan Johnson did or whatever, right? And that was, like, the highest. That was, like, a 10 out of 10 or something. And so, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Which one happened first? Like, it dropped first? Like, imagine trying to, like, explain this in a boardroom meeting. Well, you see, what happened was, some of the fans didn't like that this episode of this television show was better than the other one, according to the critical aggregated review. And so they organized. Yeah, so so this is what I think is, I think Trev's right. I think Bad Batch dropped first. So the A Song of Ice and Fire fans or the Game of Thrones fans probably attacked first. Wait, so it beat the episode and then the review... See, we're getting conflicting reports that, dude, this is crazy. We can't even agree on what happened. This is wild. This is like a Game of Thrones episode. Sheesh. You can't beat a 10 out of 10. You can if you knock it down a peg or two. And that's probably the point, right? Aussie Man Day Us, yes. I posted it in the other chat. Okay, so it was the reviewers notice. So A Song of Ice and Fire beat it. Yeah, but how do you beat it? How do you beat a 10? That is actually kind of an interesting question. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's certainly a situation. You know what I mean? And I think it again shows that these companies, man, they fuck this shit up and they don't do well in a lot of ways. But I also do have some sympathy for them, because you guys are the worst. You know, like, I love you guys, but you are the worst. This is probably the hardest time to ever create content. The online audience in the fandom is the most entitled it has ever been. They're also the loudest they've ever been. Like, you guys are just so awful. Screen Rant article, Breaking Bad episode loses a 13-year perfect score after Knight of the Seven Kingdoms starts review bombing war. Well, there you have it. I mean, it's right there, guys. It's right there in print. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of tough to argue with. They lost the perfect score. And they were not happy about that shit. Interesting. Super interesting. Hey, don't describe me accurately in public. Sorry, it's true. They went off on the book at the end, but let them cook right. Oh, okay, interesting. Shut up and dribble, Josh. You see what I mean? These fuckers? Yeah, it is interesting that this happened. Again, it's so crazy that I can't even really come out with like a proper take. I'm just like, it just shows how ridiculous the world is, really. At the same time, though, I mean, you know, great company to be in. Breaking Bad is an incredible show. I do think A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is that good. Particularly that 5th episode was a masterclass, I felt. So yeah, pretty cool, man. And then look, House of the Dragon right around the corner. I'm actually excited. I can't wait. I want to see more of that. And you know, looking forward to a 2nd season of the Dunk and Egg show at this point, man. Crazy, but Game of Thrones really doing well in the modern era, and well positioned for the next couple of years, and potentially you know, remaining as one of the really big franchises that's killing it in the zeitgeist. So I'm into it, man. Never seen Game of Thrones. Am I missing out? So I think so. I think, you know, Game of Thrones is interesting because it is adult for sure. It doesn't try to hide that fact. I mean, even the show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's got like this massive prosthetic wiener. It's got a bunch of shitting and pissing. It's got whoring and swearing and, you know, it's very adult. Like it's you cannot watch. It's not for kids, right? It's not for kids. However, I do think there's something great about Thrones. I guess if you had to distill it down, it would be that the characters are all well written because they're all morally gray. They're all like capable of good and evil, and you never quite know how things are going to go. And there tends to be like a darkness to it, a twist, like the other shoe drops and it's like shocking and really dark. So I think like it's cool fantasy, fun world building, has a unique adult edge to it. So I really like it. I really enjoy Thrones. But yeah, it's, you know, we get people in the community and whatnot that don't like the, some of those aspects of it. Maybe it's the nudity, the sexual content, or whatever. I do think A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is sort of like a sort of paler version of that. Like it's not as crazy, but it's in there. It's certainly in there. So yeah, I don't know. I guess, are you missing out? I think so, but it's really like, is it your jam? Is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is Game of Thrones, is that shit going to be your jam? That's really more subjective. So it's like, do you like that kind of stuff? Does that kind of stuff bother you? Then maybe don't check it out. But I like it, and I'm glad to see Thrones doing well. You know, again, in a world where you watch how some of these other franchises are being handled, and particularly like Lord of the Rings. Like, I really think Rings of Power is dog shit. And I'm glad that in a world where like the richest man on the planet spends all this money and like just throws it at Lord of the Rings and it ends up feeling like soulless corporate product, I'm glad that like there's still people out there that are able to take stuff, you know, from a very different source material, but adapt it in a way that feels authentic and that still really moves people. Stories are important. They're more than entertainment to me. So it's awesome. And I'm glad they're doing well. I'm glad they're doing well, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm so excited for that hot D, baby. Hot D, here we come. All right, lads and lasses, it's time. Let's talk about Loki. It's time. Let's talk about some low-key crazy news. You see what I did there? How many times can I get away with that? How many times can I make that pun? Rings of Power was pretty, though? The fuck? Twice? Twice? Hey, do you guys you low-key think I'll be able to keep making that joke? Bruto the Bear, member for 23 months, says, in a time when IP is not always handled well, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms shines through as one of the best out there right now. Nerd Vengers for life. Ranch Vengers for life. Keep it brutal. Yeah, brother, I totally agree. By the way, thanks for all that support, man. 23 months. It's almost 2 years. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like part of what I'm trying to get out there too. Not all of us like all of the same things, but, you know, we're a community of nerds. And so when something's really good out there that's happening, I like to bring it up. I'm like, yo, this is really good. They're doing it right. And in a lot of ways, like, I'm kind of jealous. I wish Marvel was going in more of that direction. But yeah, appreciate the love, man. Thank you. Bet might start my Game of Thrones journey today. Then, yeah, it's a cool IP, man, and it's in good hands. And there's a lot of fun content coming down the pipe. So yeah, I think it's a good investment for sure. All right, everybody, let's talk a little bit about Loki. Okay, it's time. Okay, hang on. Let me get John's message here, and then we'll get into it. Then we'll get into the Loki. Hang on now. 54 months. Oh, my God. 54 months? I can't even do the math on that. It's like 18 years, dude. Thank you. Let's fucking go. Rings of Power is not my jam. Appreciate y'all. Have a good shift. Thanks, man. Much love. Much love. Okay. All right, my nerds. All right, let's get into this, man. So, there is a new plot leak / rumor out there about Loki and Doomsday. And it is confusing a lot of fans. A lot of fans are up in arms about it, kind of shocked about it. So I want to break it down. Okay, I want to break it down. I want to talk about it. I want to explain why it's shocking so many fans. It's puckering up so many buttholes. We're going to get into it because, don't worry, I think I can explain it. I actually don't think it's as big of a problem as maybe some people are thinking it is right now, but we'll go through it. Maybe you guys can tell me the sky is falling and I'm coping. Okay, so what's going on? Well, according to Daniel Richtman, Loki will have a small role in Avengers Doomsday. Cue the panic. What? No, it can't be. What the fuck? No. Now hold on. Let's just go through this. Why is this such an issue, right? So Loki will reportedly have a small role in Doomsday. Yeah, for some fans, that's pretty shocking. Now, here's the thing. There's a guy, I forget his name. I think it's Gambit Knight or something like that. There's this like insider kind of guy. He runs in the circles with all the scoopers. I'm blanking on his name right now. But he came out and said that Loki's literally in one scene in this movie. Okay, so it's one thing. It's one thing if they're like it's one thing if they're like he has a small role in the movie. I can live with that. Okay? But when you say he has one scene in the movie, now all of a sudden I have to join in with the other fans and start fucking panicking. What the fuck? One scene? No! But hang on. Let's try to make sense of this. What's the dealio? So, I went back, chat, and I looked at a ton of different things that people had said about Loki's role in the movie. The reason I did this is because I think as we follow along with these leaks and rumors, we kind of like make a model for the movie in our mind. We kind of think we know what's going to happen. And that's where it gets dangerous, right? Because you assume things will often, maybe you misinterpret something, maybe you're thinking in a certain way. You got to kind of try to like curb your enthusiasm, not hold on to your fan expectations too much. And I know I'm bad at it too, because I come up with all these fun things and then speculate. And then when it doesn't happen, I complain about it. So I'm right there with you. But the reality is if you go back and look at what people were saying with Loki, Loki's almost always referred to as an important part of the movie, but it's almost never talked about what he's actually doing in the film. Okay, so going way back to like 2-3 years ago when it was Kang Dynasty and whatnot, there was a lot of talk of Loki as a MacGuffin. And around the time of when it is officially announced that that movie is now Doomsday, some of the scoopers like Alex Perez indicate that Loki will remain as a MacGuffin. Okay, so that's kind of a thing. And it does seem like Loki at the end of time and holding everything together past the void, right? Past the end of time is somehow important to maybe what Doctor Doom is doing as well, okay? I think another reason that people maybe when they heard that he was the MacGuffin or they sort of had this idea that it's all about getting to where Loki is at, I think another reason we sort of built this model for Loki having a bigger role has to do with Avengers Prime. So it does seem like elements from the Avengers Prime Loki comic book story were built into Loki season 1 and season 2. And a lot of folks believed that Loki is building up multiversal Avengers in some way, shape, or form. And this is kind of carried into Deadpool and Wolverine. Paradox is tasked by the TVA post Loki season 2 ending with overseeing the destruction of that timeline and pulling out a hero from that timeline that would then be important for fighting for the existence of the sacred timeline down the line, right? So I think a lot of us fans, we saw all those pieces moving together. We obviously know the TVA is important. Loki's, important. Maybe Avengers Prime was going to be a thing. I think we sort of built a model for the movie in our head where we just thought Loki would get off of that chair and be more of an active participant in the film. And that I don't actually think is going to happen. Now, here's another element of this that makes it interesting. Just the other week, My Time to Shine Hello reported that Steve Rogers is on 828 with the Fantastic Four and with Doctor Doom, which we're going to talk more about in a second here because there's even more stuff coming out about that. It's crazy. But she reported that Loki would move Steve and Peggy. Okay? This is important. I want you to really lean in on this. She said that when they shot at Windsor Park in that estate, in the house that was Luke Cage's house, because remember, they used a code name for Steve Rogers because at one point they were trying to hide that Steve Rogers was such a big part of this movie. They called it the Luke Cage house. It's the house from the 50s, I think, at the end of Endgame where he goes with Peggy, has his dance. It's that yellow house. It's the same one we see him walk up to in the very first teaser trailer for Doomsday. Well, when they shot the scenes there at Windsor Park, Shine said they shot with Steve, Peggy, their stunt doubles. Loki was there, and Doctor Doom was there. This is according to Shine. Okay. So, unfortunately, guys, what that means is the only reliable scene, like the only scene in the movie that the scoopers have talked about, is Loki at Windsor Park with Steve Rogers and potentially Peggy. And what Shine said was that Loki is the person that tells Steve about how the timeline he just created is going to be destroyed, and that he can move Steve to a universe where he doesn't exist and therefore will not cause any problems or whatever, right? So let's just hold on to that thought for a second, because maybe that's what this one scene is, and that is weird. But we'll get into more of that in a second. I think there's another thing that fans were kind of considering as a possibility here, and it has to do with Thor. So a lot of the scoopers and insiders have indicated that there's been a plan for a reunion between Thor and Loki for a long time. And it was assumed that that would happen in Avengers Doomsday. And so a lot of us thought, like, even when that Thor trailer came out, they were like, dude, is Loki there? Is Loki and him going to team up? Is that why Thor's crying in Deadpool? Because Loki does something to, like, sacrifice to help, whatever. This, that, second, and the third. And so those are all of the, like, rumors, everything that we thought we knew about Loki. It was always obvious, but also reported, that Loki's a MacGuffin, that getting to where Loki is at, getting to that throne or getting past the end of time, was important. Now, maybe some of that was more important when it was the Kang Dynasty. Maybe it's less so important now, right? But then we have the rumors of them shooting at the Luke Cage house. Loki's maybe there with stunt doubles as well. Steve's there, Peggy's there, Doctor Doom's there. What is that about, right? That's the only, like, actual rumored shooting that Hiddleston did. Now, Tom Hiddleston himself in an interview talked about how his role in Doomsday was beautiful. I forget the exact language he used, but I think this is another reason that fans thought his role would be more significant, because Hiddleston said something to the effect of, my part in this is so cool, and they've never done this before in a movie. I think it's genuinely going to blow people away, and it's really, really cool. But again, that doesn't mean he shot a bunch of stuff and that it's really, really important to the movie. So, there's people. Basically, we arrive at a place where we're like, okay, what is going on with Loki in this film? It's obvious that he's holding everything together at the end of time. As we understand it, that is now just a fact, and technically speaking, all of the timeline since the beginning to the end, and any moment on the timeline would now be a part of a branch that was connected to Loki holding it all and having it plugged into him. So as far as we understand it right now, Loki is like kind of omnipresent in the multiverse and yet not actually there physically at all, because he's holding it all together from outside of the entire multiverse, right? Well, when Shine reported that stuff about Loki moving Steve, she had said that it was before the end of Loki season 2. And I was like, okay, that's kind of odd, but maybe the reason she said that is because maybe Loki never gets off of the throne. So maybe they have to have that scene with Loki before he goes to sit on the throne. And he has that scene with Steve Rogers, and then we literally never see him again at all. I don't know. Like I'm uncertain. It would have almost made more sense to me if they said 2 scenes. If they said Loki's in 2 scenes, because I'd be like, okay, totally understand that. Here's what it's going to be. It's going to be at the beginning of the movie when he moves Steve into 828, and then it'll be at the end of the movie when he joins the multiversal Avengers to try to stop Doom. Okay? But now that we're legitimately thinking it is just 1 scene, I don't know what to make of that. Now, part of me thinks it could be the beginning scene where he moves Steve. That could be a really interesting scene. It could set up some wild plot stuff later on where Loki tells Steve some things maybe, or, hints at something. I don't really know. Like, that could be an interesting scene. Or it is at the end of the movie, and this whole rumor of Loki being the one that moved Steve is bullshit. Right? And I really don't know what to believe, because Shine has got a lot wrong, but a lot right as well. I mean, I think these scoopers are accurate, but the truth is, like, Marvel's gotten really clever at how they hide the truth. And so they're getting a lot of stuff wrong. I mean, basically, I think like all of them got the Jean Grey thing wrong. I think a lot of them are getting the stuff with RDJ's Downey wrong. But with that said, maybe some of you are like, well, maybe they're getting this wrong. Like, maybe Daniel's just wrong about this. Here's the thing. You got to think about the timing, guys. I always try to tell you that you can't just, like, it's more complicated than like, oh, so he's wrong about this, so he's wrong about everything. You have to have pattern recognition. You have to think about the kind of scoops he gets wrong. You have to think about the timing of things when he reports them. Right now, you have Campia saying he knows basically everything that's going on in the movie. You have reshoots being planned and extensive reshoots, maybe even being shot, right? It makes sense that at this moment, if Daniel's going to report this right now, February 21st of 2026, it makes sense that he's accurately reporting what Loki's role is in Doomsday currently. Like, does that make sense? So this, in my opinion, is real. And then to have the Night Gambit homie say it's 1 scene, to me, it's all real. It's all real. So we have to decide. Guys, I guess I'll open it up to the chat. We'll have a little conversation about this. What do you think of this? Is this like, does this like really fuck it up for you? Like, does this shock you where you're like, wait a minute, no, I really thought Loki would be in a lot more of this film? Because I kind of didn't. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. This was not super shocking to me. The 1 scene thing is confusing only because, again, I thought there were maybe 2 moments where Loki would be important to the story. But most of the story is not going to deal with Loki at all. Right? So in that sense, I wasn't surprised. It's not like Loki's going to be scene 1, right? And he's like, yo, let me tell you about Doctor Doom, motherfuckers. This dude is wild. Like, no, that was never going to be a thing. So, with that all said, chat, what do you make of this? What do you make of this, chat? What do you think? And I got to go back up here. Hopefully this 1 scene is more like what Red Skull had in Infinity War, and not just him being killed by Doom right away like Thanos did in Infinity War. Yeah, I can almost guarantee it's not that. Like, that wouldn't even make sense. Like, I tell you this, if Doctor Doom finds Loki at the end of time and fucking kills him scene 1 of Doomsday, then I'll throw my hands up into the air. I have no idea what Doomsday is. I have no idea how the fucking movie could go then. Because that's absurd. What would he even need to do after that? The whole idea is built around him needing to get to where Loki is at, in my opinion. But yeah, Doom convinces him to leave the throne. Oh, I highly doubt that. Loki should have been a big part of Doomsday or not be in it at all. Make him be in Secret Wars instead. So that's actually a great question here. Does this then open the door for a ton of Loki in the Secret Wars movie or not? Because I'm not sure, man. Like, I'm just not sure. Like, maybe, but it seems like Secret Wars has a lot of shit it wants to do, like, already. I don't know how, like, more Loki stuff fits into that. Do you know what I mean? Linked Gambit's backtrack in Discord. Oh, he backtracked on it a little bit? Okay, let me check the Discord. Where did he backtrack at it? What? Oh, he never said anything about Loki. Oh, he's talking about the girls. Okay, thank God. Oh my God. Okay, thank God. Woo! Okay, that is a beautiful thing. Chat, thank you. You know, I very rarely say this, but you did good. You did good, chat, and you actually brightened my day for once. Holy. Okay, great. So let's now talk a little bit more. Now the context, I think, makes a little bit more sense. Again, guys, it's probably just a couple of scenes, right? And this, oh, thank God, this is so much better. This is so much better. Because if it was one scene, I was like, how the fuck is that going to work? Now, going back into this, now you have to change the thumbnail. Why? Does it say one scene on the thumbnail? I don't think it does it? Either way, fuck it. I ain't changing shit. Maybe I will change it. I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I won't. Yeah, but look, going back into it, now a lot of this makes sense. I think then what you probably have, again, going back to what Shine said about Loki being at the house, I think it's probably accurate that Loki is involved in moving Steve. Maybe that scene happens fairly early on, and he'll kind of explain, you know, the dealio there. That's probably a pretty important scene. And then Loki probably at the very end of time, barely in it, tries to help everybody stop Doom, gets killed, Doom takes over, uses the thing. Yeah, exactly, Matt. Yeah, Matty Spice, let him know. Randot says, I think Loki will be a replacement for the Beyonders, and Doom will take his power to make Battleworld, but he won't have a huge role. Yeah, there's something to that for sure. I don't know exactly how that will all work, but yes, I do believe he needs, like, several times throughout the last couple of years, the scoopers have said that Loki would be the MacGuffin, that essentially Doom needs to get to where Loki's at, or he needs to get to the power of Loki or some shit like that. So this is all making a lot more sense. And I will also say, just as like a little addition to this, with now the additional context from this guy, it's good and maybe good enough that we don't need a lot of Loki in Secret Wars. Maybe we can kind of get enough of Loki going into Doomsday for it to be cathartic, for him to help some of the other characters out, and then not really need him moving forward. I've actually been going back and rewatching a lot of the Loki show, just because I've been crafting a lot of theories, you know, trying to like figure out Doomsday, doing these deep dives and everything. And man, first of all, that show's great, but also like, dude, he is so good. Oh, it's pronounced Paradise? Oh, okay, sorry. Thanks for the 50. Give me 1 second here. Appreciate that. Big 50 from John Paradise. Pronounce Paradise, you fucking idiots in chat. Don't know how to pronounce anything. Fucking dummies. But anyway, Loki show's great, man, and Hiddleston's so good, especially in those last couple episodes of season 2. You can really see him, like, he's at the end of an arc, fully appreciating everything, really just trying to preserve everything. It's weird. Like, it's fatherly. Like, it's cool. It's really cool. So I hope we get that version of Loki, because that's a good version of Loki to help, like, move some things along, you know? So if the scene, don't forget about your big 5. All right, brother. Jesus, I'm losing my train of thought here. The point I'm trying to make, man, is that I think we can get a lot of mileage out of a small amount of Loki scenes because of where he is at in the story and how he'll be able to move things along for the other characters. I'm particularly interested in that scene with Steve Rogers, if that's real, because I still have trouble believing that scene is actually real, right? But if that's real, wow. You know, two dudes been playing their role for like 15 plus years in you know, Evans and Hiddleston, doing an incredible scene together. And Hiddleston, again, you know, the pretext of that scene is like, God of Mischief is here. Why would Steve trust him? You know, maybe Mjolnir is involved in that. Maybe Loki will pick up Mjolnir or something. But, you know, Loki will be able to hopefully just impart how he has changed onto Steve. And I think that'll feel good to, like, come to that realization. And, you know, there's just a lot of heavy lifting you can get out of Loki is what I'm trying to say. So, small role, guys, but do not panic. It's not just one scene. That's fake news. But yeah, probably a smaller role, but I think actually appropriate for the story we're going to get. So, John Paradise here says, I truly enjoy your knowledge and insight on all topics. It's definitely something I look forward to each and every day. I will continue to support you in this channel. By the way, with all respect, my last name is pronounced Paradise, LOL. Yes, okay, awesome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the support. A big old 50, my God, that's very generous. And after I mispronounced your name too, wow. All right, let's go back, though, and let's read the Exodus's $5, because all super chats matter over here, but the 50s matter way more. Don't forget, we've got Thor's stunt double taking selfies outside of the loom, and we've got Italian promotional material listing Loki as an Avenger. Oh, shit, my man. Yeah, those are good things to point out as well. The TVA thing with Thor is real. No Loki in that scene, but I understand the connection, right? It's like, obviously, Loki's TVA connected. Yeah, I'm going to be fascinated to see how that all goes. I mean, yeah, it's probably a very limited role. But you know what's kind of funny then? This is the other thing that's kind of wild. Is like, if we really think about everything we just learned together, class, it means we're getting more scenes with Loki than we are with Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart together. And that's a fucking incredible dub. You know, we are gathered here today to celebrate the size of this dub, that we're only going to get one scene with the girls together. And it's fine. You know, look, some of y'all like the girls. I'm over it. I hate them. I hate them together. I hate when they open up their mouths and talk. But again, it's one scene with the girls, and we're literally getting more scenes with Loki. What a fucking dub. Dude, what an amazing, wonderful, incredible W. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, Kevin Feige. We love you, Kevin Feige. Incredible news, chat. Incredible news. Josh hates women confirmed again. No. Oh, you've got it all wrong. You've got it all wrong. Star Wars Sith. I don't hate women. I just want them removed from all my favorite pop culture things by 30 to 40, maybe even 60%. All right. All right, chat. Bunch of fucking bows. Holy shit. All right, let's talk about something else, huh? So we got another crazy thing that people are saying with their mouths. Actually, probably more with their fingers because they're typing it out on social media. What am I talking about? Fantastic Four post-credit scene with Steve Rogers. Now, holy... This is kind of crazy. We got a deep dive on this. Chat, question for you all. Do you remember when I made a big old video about how Chris Evans was going to be in a post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four movie? I remember because that video blew up, dude. The thing did like 100K, and then everybody was really fucking mad at me when Chris Evans was not in the post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four. You all remember that shit? Bro, this shit happens to me all the time, man. Damn you, Kevin. So anyway, turns out that was real. And I want to show you some evidence of that, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So check this out. It's pretty crazy. This is coming from Cryptic HD quality. You know? Holy shit. He says, so, yeah, F4 was supposed to have another post-credit scene featuring Steve. I don't know if it was shot or not, though. It wouldn't have been explained or anything. We'd just catch up and have it explained in Doomsday. Maybe a little confusing right now, but it'll make sense later. Okay, so this is kind of out there now, and you have people like Shine talking a little bit more explicitly about like what that scene was going to be, what's the deal with Steve Rogers and all of that. So this is like, you know, it's spoilery or whatever. Take it with a grain of salt. Some of it could be wrong, but again, the timing matters. It seems like we're getting a more clear picture than ever about what's actually going on. So here's where things are going to get really, really weird, okay? Because I was told about this scene, and when I was originally told about this scene, they actually told me it wasn't going to be Steve. They actually told me it was going to be Johnny Storm, which is actually going to come back later because I have to tell you the most fucking ridiculous theory that I have about Doomsday, and I think it's real, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But we'll get there. Okay, we'll get there. I was also told that this was likely a scene that had something to do with multiple universes and was probably the Fantastic Four from the 2005 cast, like having their universe be destroyed. Okay, that it was something like that, but it was all very vague. It was like, you know, I was trying to like pull something out of the source. The source was like, yeah, there's a Chris Evans scene for sure. And then I heard they shot with Alba, they shot with Chiklis, and they shot with Evans as Johnny, and that it was going to be involved in that. Okay, but now we're starting to hear the stuff that it's Steve. It wasn't going to be explained. It was just going to be a scene on 828 with Steve Rogers, and it wasn't going to be explained. Now, here's what's weird about that. We're also starting to get a bunch of leaks from, you know, from Shine and others that Steve is in 828 with Peggy and his child. So right now it seems like, and I think this shit seems so fucking crazy. Like all this stuff seems so wild, right? But I'm just like telling you, like this is what it is. If you're really paying attention, like this is what it is. The scoopers are suggesting that Steve, Peggy, and his child all live on 828. Shine said the explanation for that was that Loki, sometime before he goes to sit on the throne, takes Steve after returning on the sacred timeline to live with Peggy and moves him. He moves Steve, Peggy, and the child to a universe where they never existed, so there's not going to be a problem. And that universe is 828. So this post-credit scene would have just been them on 828. We wouldn't have had any explanation for it. It's almost like similar to the teaser, where we don't really get an explanation for it. It's just like a little tease, like, oh shit, Steve's back, he has a kid. What the fuck? Okay. So, on the one hand, this is interesting because it sort of shows that yeah, this has been planned for a while, and that the Steve Rogers element is important to this, and that they were potentially going to kick this off for the actual Fantastic Four. So the source wasn't completely wrong. There was a post-credit scene with Steve Rogers, but again, there's that element of me being told that it was Johnny Storm. What's the deal with that? Well, we'll talk more about that later, okay? So now that we know that Steve is already on the ship with Doctor Doom and Reed Richards coming to 616 to try to stop the incursions. Like, we already know that. And, you know, we know from the leaks that maybe Loki moves Steve onto 828. All of this is leading to a scenario here where Steve Rogers on 828 is pretty much like undeniable. And I guess I'm starting to question, right? Because remember, there's that scene that they said was with Doom and Steve and Peggy and the child, maybe. And then there's a version of that scene with him, the child, and Loki, right? I guess I'm wondering how much of that is actually going to be shown in Doomsday, or is this going to be a thing where we just see Doom and Steve and Reed all show up on 616, and then we just have to like take their word for it of the events that have happened, right? Like, I'm starting to question how much of that will actually be seen and how much of that will be told to us as something that happened, right? Because there's a level of deception here as well. And I'm like, okay, so what exactly is Doom hiding with this whole scenario? Now, this also connects to other rumors about the Fantastic Four. Now, this connects to some stuff that like Gary from Nerderotic was talking about, but also others were talking about this as well. Remember, guys, that there was a version of the Fantastic Four movie where their universe was going to be destroyed, and they were forced to be they were forced to come to 616 as refugees. Like, I remember this. And Gary had said something like, oh, they want to do a scene where you see Doctor Doom and you see the face of this guy you thought was the hero in Tony, and then he destroys that universe. And that was also rumored as potentially something that was shot and potentially something that was in the post-credit scene. So now I'm like, wait a minute. Like what is going on here? Which one of these scenes are real? What are we going to actually see in the movie here? And what's the actual story? Like, it's, you know, a lot of this is just trying to like pick the pieces together, try to figure it out. But yeah, interesting updates here as more of the info comes out. I wonder if now we'll get a version of this scene just in the movie with Steve and Reed and Doom all meeting together. Are we just going to get them coming out of the ship in 616 and then they explain it all and we don't actually get to see the backstory of all of that? I don't know. I'm intrigued, I'm confused, and I'm about to talk to you about the most outlandish, ridiculous theory I've ever had when it comes to Doomsday. It's even crazier than my Tony Stark theory, although it connects to the Tony Stark theory. It has to do with Johnny Storm. We'll talk about it in just a second. But for now, chat, what do you think of this? What do you think of the post-credit scene? What do you think it all means? Are they going to show some of this in Doomsday? Are they hiding stuff in Doomsday? Like, what's the deal here, chat? What's the deal? What you guys think is going on here, okay? Jay Morris says, I'm like 20 minutes behind on the stream, but maybe they're just waiting to film additional scenes with Tom. Yeah, maybe. Underwear Taker says, Cap must have been pissed after Loki moved him to a safe world, and then a hot silver lady shows up telling everyone the world is going to be eaten. Yeah, 100%, yeah. I'd love to know how Cap reacted to that, yeah. I'd love to know. Yeah. Just imagine how they would have had to pay him for that scene. Yeah, I think that's probably fair, right? But here's the other thing. The other post-credit scene for Fantastic Four was shot by the Russo brothers. So they're shooting principal for Doomsday. And they shoot the Fantastic Four post-credit scene on the set of Doomsday. So if that is also true, then yeah, they could have just shot that scene on the set for Doomsday. Does that make sense? Let's see here. Perez says, my guess is Loki will be important in the beginning and then the very end of the film. I bet he's hanging with Thor in Secret Wars, a real reunion. Oh, that would be great, dude. That would be really cool. Yeah, I'd be down with that. We want to hear your crazy ass theory. Well, hang on. You gotta wait. We gotta talk more about this, and then we'll talk about the crazy ass theory. Just hang on. This is cool, but I'm tired of Marvel removing cool things from their projects. Yeah, that's fair. There's always going to be a good measure of that, though, because of the way the system works. They're always, tinkering, coming up with ideas, trying to draw big ideas from their whiteboards, remember? I thought Friday's stream was really good. I actually want to change the packaging on it. It's like people aren't loving the whole whiteboard pointing packaging or whatever, but I thought Friday's stream was really good, man. We did a lot of deep diving on Marvel and their process and how they approach things. And, one of the things we talked about on Friday that's kind of wild was they have a meeting with Amy Pascal. They have like the first rumblings that they might be able to get the Spider-Man character and actually produce movies with him. And Kevin Feige has a retreat and they come up with a 5-movie plan of how to involve Spider-Man in their story before they sign the contract. So why that's important is you have to realize that Feige and them, and it's really like Feige in Parliament, they're always like swinging for the fences and trying stuff that's really big, and they're making plans for like, well, what if we got this, we could do this. So yeah, in that sense, I guess you'll always have some cool stuff that might be in the movie at one time, but then gets removed. Does that make sense? Wait, so they definitely did sneak Chris Evans onto the F4 set, but cut the scene. No, it would be more likely that they hid him from the Doomsday set, right? I don't know who that figure was that they hid and rushed in to the Fantastic Four thing. I really don't know. When will we get the next trailer for Doomsday? Hard to say. I would say, though, probably summer. Early summer's probably, at this point, I would say early summer, yeah. Yeah. But didn't the Russos confirm the old guy holding Peggy's casket was Steve? I don't know that they ever hard confirmed that. I think they alluded to it. But yeah, that could still work as well. He's already been in 6 movies. Does that not include his independent movies with Sony? Well, no, he got his contract extended. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. The point is not that he did those many movies. The point is that Parliament, before having any actual contract with Sony, before knowing like, hey, we got it, let's figure it out, had planned 5 movies. The point is not that they make the movies. The point is that they're planning before they know for sure that they even have access to the toys. Like their reach is past their grasp. So there will always be stuff taken out of Marvel projects because they're cooking at a big scale at a high level, and then things change. They have to refine it down. That's the point. How come no one mentions Adam Warlock in Doomsday? Ooh, Steve and his son watching the old FF cartoon theory. I like that. So it could have pulled back to see those two instead, watching the cartoons. I think that would have been great, yeah. Dude, I'm half-assed listening. I've been busy. Oh, it's all good, man. I'm not trying to besmirch your honor, good sir. I'm just trying to be clear. Doomsday trailer probably playing at cinemas before Spider-Man. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Okay, is that a good place to leave the Fantastic Four rumors for now? And should I maybe talk about my absolutely absurd rumor? Look, I'm self-conscious about this rumor, okay? I'm self-conscious about this. Y'all got me feeling a certain way. At the moment, what do you think McFeely's activating idea was? I think the activating idea was how to crack the Secret Wars script open and make it into a 2-part movie. I think that's really what it was. At least that's what I think nowadays. But dude, trust me, if I go into more detail about that, we'll be here for a half hour explaining it. So just relax. Warhammer, please. Warhammer's tomorrow night. You make me feel a certain way, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you mean, but I'm happy for you. What if Loki gives them the baby from Fantastic Four so Sue Storm can focus on her work? You guys call me a misogynist? Just because I want all of this catering towards potential female audiences to go the fuck away and I want actual male spaces? You call me a misogynist? This motherfucker's over here like, she can't be a mom and solve the universe problem. Get a sitter. Loki lover, you'll find someday, if you're ever fortunate enough to find a partner and have a wife and have kids, that moms are capable of being moms and so much more. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. Appreciate it though. Babysitting is a thing. I know. Doom babysits Franklin. Yeah, well, guys, look, Franklin is not just some fucking kid in this movie. Okay? Franklin is not just some kid that needs to be babysat and needs to be like not in it. No, Franklin's actually the key to solving fucking everything. Okay? Franklin is how they're going to do a lot of shit in the movie. So no, Franklin is not going to be over with the fucking babysitter. Okay, this isn't Incredibles 1. And now you're pissing me off. All right, anyway. Okay, let's get on. Good segment. Good segment. Hell yeah. She better be making invisible sandwiches or something. I don't know. Fuck. Underwear Taker says, would making Doomsday trailer exclusive first to finale of DD be smart or no? Oh, no, I don't think so, bud. I don't think so. I understand where your head's at with that, but I don't think so. They could come up with a unique way to use the things they have going out, but Spider-Man will get more views, so do that. Jack greater than Franklin? How dare you? Jack's pretty goated, though, so I'm not going to lie. All right. Okay, look, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about a new crazy theory I have for Doomsday, but I gotta say, full disclosure here, you gotta take this with the healthiest grain of salt that you've ever taken before in your life. This is a theory that I'm almost embarrassed to talk about, because here's the reality. I have been going a little off the deep end. Okay, I'm nerd venging. I've been watching a ton of Marvel stuff. I've been going back and rereading all of the Cosmic Circus Q&As. I've been seeing what people like Jeff Snyder and John Roca have been saying for years on their Hot Mic podcast. I've been deep in it, man. I'm fucking deep in this shit right now. And the truth is, I'm right on that line of genius and crazy. And I might be dipping into crazy a little bit too much. I feel like maybe I'm losing grip with reality. Okay? And some of you guys, even on Friday, we're deep diving in there and we're pulling all this stuff out. I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that. And some of you guys are like, dude, this is, you're turning into the Pepe Silva meme. You're losing us, Josh. You're getting too crazy. Well, guess what? I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. And I must now present to you the craziest fucking rumor ever when it comes to Avengers the Doomsdays. Okay? And I also must say that this is all Alex Perez's fault. I feel bad because it seems like I keep kind of like taking aim at Alex, or, you know, reading way too far into like all the shit that he says or whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like I need to. Sorry, Alex. But the reality is, you did this, man. You did this. And the main reason, or the main thing that started my whole brain thinking of this, like, I legitimately never in a million years would have thought of this if it were not for what Alex recently said about Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Evans. Recall that just a few weeks ago, Alex came out in a Q&A and sort of debunked my theory about Robert Downey Jr. and Doctor Doom and Iron Man, okay? And basically, guys, what my theory is that the Iron Man that we watched throughout the Infinity Saga is actually a Doctor Doom variant. That somehow, some way, before the events of that universe being created, which is known as the Sacred Timeline, which we know Kang, or He Who Remains, like, curated and changed, right? So what I think happened is somehow, some way, He Who Remains took Victor Von Doom and turned him into an Iron Man on the Sacred Timeline. And I know that sounds fucking outlandish, but there's like a lot of reasons why I believe that. So a couple of weeks ago, when debunking this, Alex chose his words really carefully, and it was a head scratcher of a debunk. Because number one, he kind of said, like, there was this question asked about how Doctor Doom's really a Tony Stark that goes mad and then becomes Doom. And I'm like, that's not the theory at all. That's not what I'm talking about, but whatever. And then Alex says, there's no truth to that theory whatsoever. And he said something really weird. He said, in the same way that Chris Evans can play Johnny Storm and Steve Rogers, Robert Downey Jr. can play different characters in the MCU. Now, before we go any further, chat, you remember this? And you remember what he said? Do you remember my take on this, right? Do you remember? Do you remember, chat? Or not? Based MMA says, my time to shine just said everybody dies in Doomsday. How true do you think that is? Yeah, everybody's going to die. Yep. Do you remember this? Okay. So here's the thing, okay? I couldn't stop thinking about this because in my mind, like, let's just do like a sort of reverse engineering of this. In my mind, if my theory is correct, which I think it is, then Alex is playing word games to try to make it seem like the theory is not true. But if he's playing word games, then that means he's not lying. So if he's not lying, then he's revealing something. What he's revealing is that there is actually something to why Evans is able to be Johnny Storm and Steve Rogers. And that something about the explanation for that will also have something to do with Doctor Doom. Okay, so that's where the theory sort of starts, okay? I went back, chat, and I was rereading Cosmic Circle Q&As from years ago, okay? A couple of different things we need to say here, okay? So let's just first talk about the date. This is December 2024, so 2 years ago about. And this is basically when we still thought like Blade, Armor Wars, like a lot of different things were going on. It was 2 years ago, okay, for the time. After Deadpool and Wolverine. Very important. After Deadpool and Wolverine, okay? So, couple of interesting things said here. Number one. Here's a question here. Hello, Alex. I gotta, dude, this shit, I'm gonna make this larger because this shit is, I think, kind of mind-blowing. Again, maybe I am a total schizo and I'm just being a schizo about this shit, but I think you're gonna see where I'm going with this, okay? So he's asked here, what role do you think Chris Evans will have in Doomsday? His answer is interesting. He says, one of the rumors I heard for these films was that a lot of the actors might be pulling double duty when it comes to the characters they portray. Evans could be a prime example of that because he could be playing a number of characters in these upcoming films. One of these will definitely be the Steve Rogers from the end of Endgame, who went on to live happily ever after with Peggy, who was recently confirmed to be coming back for Doomsday. The confirmation that she'll be Agent Carter rather than Captain Carter indicates we'll be headed back to that timeline. Here's a really important part here, though. I've also heard that Evans could be portraying another character in the movie that stands alongside RDJ's Doctor Doom. Now, hold on to your horses. Hold on to your horses. So, 2 years ago, Alex is asked about the role of Chris Evans in this movie. One of the things he says is that we will be getting a version of Steve that is the one from the end of Endgame that went to live with Peggy. But he's also heard that Evans could be portraying another character in the movie that stands alongside RDJ's Doctor Doom. Now, look. A lot of you guys in chat right now are saying Hydra Cap, Hydra Cap, Hydra Cap. I thought so too. However, let me see if I can find the answer here. Hang on, I gotta find it here. Okay, here we go. Check this out here. Hey, Alex, since it's been reported that Chris Evans is returning for Doomsday, who do you think will be playing? Johnny Storm or Hydra Cap? Ask specifically about it. It's looking preemptively like it'll be Captain America that went on to live happily ever after with Peggy. But I heard rumors that his stint as Johnny Storm isn't necessarily over. What? This is after Deadpool and Wolverine. This is after Johnny has died. Okay? So, hang on now. Walk with me on this, chat. Walk with me on this. And again, Alex, this is all your fault. I am either completely schizoed off the fucking deep end here, or you fucked up when you try to debunk my theory by revealing that there is something weird about Evan's ability to be Johnny Storm and in his ability to be Captain America or Steve Rogers. I think you also fucked up 2 years ago when you revealed that there would be a version of Steve that, yes, is the Captain America that we remember that lived with Peggy, but there's also a variant that will be working alongside Doctor Doom. And then I think you also fucked up when specifically asked if that would be Hydra Captain America, and you basically revealed that it's going to be Johnny Storm. Now, where this gets even more weird, chat, and this is like, we got to take the schizoing to like the next level. Like, the schizo level is about to be over 9,000. Okay? But let's go back to the report we just talked about, which had to do with a Chris Evans post-credit scene that was shot for the Fantastic Four movie, which now folks are saying, like Cryptic, would have been Steve Rogers. But I swear to God, chat, I swear, I was told by an incredibly reliable person that it was going to be Johnny Storm. Okay? And where I think this is going, and this sounds so fucking ridiculous. It sounds so schizo. It sounds so insane. Okay? But I think legitimately this will connect to what Doctor Doom actually knows about the multiverse. I think it will go to what he actually knows about himself and other variants in these different universes. And I think somehow, some way, the ability, or I guess the reason or the explanation for why Chris Evans can be these two separate characters, and maybe one version of them is the prime version, right? Yeah, one could be a prime example of that will be the number of characters in the upcoming film. One will definitely be Steve Rogers, but then there'll be another version, right? So I actually think they might explain all the variant stuff, what it has to do with the multiverse, what it has to do with the prime version of the multiverse, and how that all changed basically because of Kang or different He Who Remains people. The other thing that this makes me think about, guys, and again, maybe I'm just all the way out on the other end here, but it makes me think about Ralph Bohner. I have been thinking so much about those early projects of Phase 4. And I mean, guys, it's no accident that the very first project in Phase 4 is WandaVision, and it's dealing with Wanda Maximoff. It's dealing with mutants. It has the literal Fox X-Men version of Pietro show up, right? Like, it's the twins. Like, we're doing so much X-Men shit in WandaVision. Why? Because they were cooking at the time this concept of how things from the original version of the universe would bleed into the current version of the universe. Like, dude, like I've been watching, like I said, I went back and was watching Loki, right? Well, one of the things that's kind of wild about Loki is there's this part where Loki's like, why do you love jet skis? Right? And lean in, you know what I mean? Like, lean in on this. There's this part where he's like, why do you like jet skis? And Mobius has this whole explanation for why he likes jet skis, but he doesn't quite know why, like, he actually likes them, because he doesn't realize that in his previous life, he sold jet skis. But what does that actually mean? What it means is, despite having his memories erased, despite being given a new memory and a new mission at the TVA, something from his previous life bleeds into his current life. It's similar to the way that Alex described Doc Strange in Multiverse of Madness, thinking that the Fantastic Four was a band in the 60s, because it's his way of processing a memory from the real timeline that has bled through into this current fake version of the timeline, right? And so I guess what I'm saying is, Marvel at the time was giving an incredible amount of thought to this. And therefore, I think Ralph Bohner is not just some random fun cameo thing. I think Ralph Bohner actually has a lot to do about the actual state of the multiverse. And I think it was a little tease in one of the first versions of, the Phase 4 content, right? We've also had scoopers, including Alex himself, say that there is more to the Ralph Bohner thing. And they have an idea of where to take that. And actually, guys, there's even moments where the scoopers say, whatever's Marvel's actually doing with the Ralph Bohner thing, I can't actually talk about it. Like, isn't that interesting? So, again, maybe the most ridiculous schizo theory that I've ever had in my life. But I'm actually starting to believe that Johnny Storm, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, will somehow be really important to Doomsday. Somehow is really important to the reveal of what is actually going on with Doctor Doom and the variants and the multiverse itself. And it might even be the case that at one moment in the movie, we actually think we're looking at Steve Rogers, but it's Johnny Storm. And you know what else is so crazy about that? Didn't Deadpool and Wolverine perfectly set that up for us? Doesn't Deadpool and Wolverine basically give us a version of that where Deadpool himself is convinced that this character is Captain America, but it is Johnny Storm, right? So I don't know, chat. Pretty fucking wild, pretty crazy. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think of this? John Johnstone says, totally not the topic, but just want to put it out there. Good music's been coming out in the last few weeks. J. Cole, Keem, Rap Avengers. Oh, nice. Okay, thanks, brother. Yeah, I'll go look into some of that, especially that J. Cole. I do love me some J. Cole. What do you think, chat? Fuck, I'm going to have to go buy some comics. I am the anchor being. Wait, what? I hate it. Okay, that's good. Well, Honeycomb, that's good to know. What are your thoughts, theories on Thor's scene with Deadpool and Wolverine in the future, apparently? Yeah, I think it'll happen on the Void. Probably trying to battle Doom and his variants and stuff. That makes perfect sense on what you said with what he said. Yeah, I mean, again, it feels a little schizo, but I know for sure Alex does stuff like that. Like, he's publicly admitted that he'll use like word games and stuff to hide stuff in plain sight. And it was just so weird the way in which he debunked the theory that it stuck with me. I was like, what is this fucker even saying here? Like, this is so stupid. And then when I was going back and reading more of this, I was like, yo, this is wild. I love it, but is it too much for the normies? It's a good question. I don't know. And maybe that's a part of like why some of this will never be fully stated. Like, it's possible that this will end up in an art book for us super nerds, and they'll be like, yes, this is the actual explanation. And maybe it has very little to do with the actual plot. But I kind of don't think so. I think this will be something. I think this is par for the course of what the ultimate goal of the Multiversal Saga was. And if you really think about what the Multiversal Saga was, it is Marvel Studios trying to make a canon of why all of the Marvel content for basically the beginning of time, especially live action Marvel content, never fully represented the comic universe. The truth is, it's all like, directors, writers, licensing, all kinds of like lawyer bullshit. But what Marvel wanted to do was come up with an in-canon explanation for that. And thus you get the TVA and Kang and the timelines and the pruning of timelines and, multiverse and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. But why is Johnny Storm, Chris Evans important to the plot of Doomsday? Well, it's because either Johnny is the Prime variant or he is a variant of a Prime who was given a different life to hide or to stop him from being all that he could be. So in my opinion, it'll basically be used as like a shock value thing, but then also like explaining like, oh, there's actually a reason that Evans played both of these roles, and that's going to help you to understand why Downey is playing both of these roles. Like, I actually don't think it's that hard in that sense to set that up. What if Steve Rogers isn't the only variant Loki sent to 828? What if he sent Doom too? Yeah, maybe. I don't know about all that, but maybe. Not to mention Michael B. Jordan playing both Johnny Storm and Killmonger. Yeah, there's something to that too. What's up, Josh? Remember the beginning of WandaVision, Jimmy Woo initially in Westview to investigate a missing persons, which we think was Ralph Boner's Multiverse of Madness relocation witness protection. I feel like there's something to that, but I can't really wrap my head around it. And it could have just been a plot device they abandoned, you know? Yeah. I understand now and I see the vision. Yeah, do you kind of get it? I believe you. And it just makes sense for Johnny to trust Doom, especially if Johnny's family died in the incursions. It's just jarring. Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff kind of runs the risk of being jarring or maybe being a little bit too much for the normies. It's kind of on the script itself. How does that plot unfold in the narrative? That's a big part of how people will either accept it or not accept it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild, huh? Look, again, if it is true, then you fucked up, Alex. You know what I mean? You fucked up. And you should probably just stop trying to subtweet me and stuff, because it's not going well. But then again, maybe I'm just insane. So we'll find out. We'll find out together. Got one more topic for you today. Hey, I got one more topic for you today, huh? Kaylin, you up? You in here? Oh, my God. We got to talk about Wonderman. I wonder, man. Why'd they make this fucking show? Okay, let's talk about Wonderman. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the spin. And let's talk about why Marvel probably shouldn't make any more shows like this. Okay, so we do have numbers coming in from Illuminant. Not Nielsen yet, which is kind of like, I guess you would call it the standard, the industry standard or whatever, but Luminant. Now, Luminant, I think, frankly, is actually better. They're actually better than Nielsen. They even give you more data. Like, Luminant is the company that broke down the Andor Season 2 data to such, like, a nerdy and autistic degree that I went in there and figured, like, I basically realized, like, wow, Season 2's viewership's pretty rough. Like, 60% of the viewership that caused Andor to chart in Season 2 comes from Season 1 viewership numbers, and they don't even finish the season. Anyways, we don't have to get sidetracked. Andor's numbers really bad as well. A lot of people pointing out Wonderman is now Marvel's Andor. Love to hear that, right? Because, as revealed here from Luminant, Wonderman garnered 549.6 million minutes of watch time in its first 10 days of streaming. Now, when the Nielsen charts come out, guys, this might end up looking decent. This might actually get them to chart. Okay? I believe when Daredevil Born Again did not chart, and it was up against Mobland, which took like the 10th spot on a week when Daredevil was out there, I believe it was in the 400s. Okay? Meaning, this 500 million minute mark, depending on what else is being watched and how much other people are watching stuff, that could get you at the top, or towards the bottom of one of these charts. And so it might end up looking good. And I also want to ask too, just like seeing this number, like, do you think that's good or bad, chat? Like, when you look at this number, seriously, do you think this is good or bad? I just want to know. I just honestly want to know. Do you think this is good or bad when you see this number? And when you look at the, and this is on the MCU Film News account here, right? It's got like 3,000 likes, 70,000 views or whatever. It's like a pretty decent post or whatever. It says, like, you see stuff down here, like this comment here, 549.6 million minutes in 10 days proves fans are hungry for these grounded Marvel Spotlight stories, with 2 likes on it. Yeah, best Disney Plus show in a while. It was actually a pretty good show. Is that good? It sounds good. I liked it. Like, again, you're seeing people kind of suggest that this is good. And guys, this is so bad. Like, this is so bad. Like, you need to understand how fucking bad this is. And I'm going to break it down for you, because it's like, are we living in some kind of weird, like, alternate reality? where people are trying to like paint a picture that's not actually true. So let me break it down for you. 550, let's just make it simple. 550 million minutes watched in 10 days of streaming would be on the low end of a single episode of television that was charting. Like, I want to repeat that. 550 would be on the low end of charting on Nielsen for a single episode. How many episodes were in Wonderman? I don't even fucking know. Was it 8 episodes? Was it 10 episodes? Was it 6 episodes? I don't even know. I think it was 8, right? And what's the length of these episodes? What's the average length of a Wonderman episode? It's over a half hour, right? Weren't they like 40 minutes, 50 minutes? Weren't they longer episodes? So guys, like, if you look at these numbers and you actually dig in, these are absolutely terrible numbers. Like, because this all got dropped at once, okay? It's 8 episodes. It's like over 4 hours, 4.5 hours of content all at once, and it garners 550 million minutes watched, which again is on the low end of a single episode of television for big shows that chart. So basically, like, nobody watched the show, basically. And I'm not here to shit on the show. I'm not here to shit on people that like the show, but I am here to point a couple of things out. Okay, I think we need to point a couple of things out here, because I don't want the Star Wars fandom thing to happen to the Marvel fandom. Maybe in some ways, there's no way I can avoid it. Maybe it's just inevitable, right? But this idea that we want to celebrate Wonderman and this sort of like almost toxic positivity of the fans that are like, yo, Wonderman's the shit. Wonderman's so awesome. Because I don't know about y'all, but like when I saw online that discussion, like when I saw this discussion, there were so many people like gassing Wonderman up. A lot of people trying to say it's really, really good. Like a lot of the conversations in the zeitgeist were like, wow, they actually made a great show. I really like, I'll give a couple of examples. Like, you know, Chris Gore really likes the show. Jeff Snyder really liked the show. You know, I think Grace really liked the show. A lot of people really liked the show and spoke so highly of it. And what I'm trying to like tell you is that is a pageantry. That is not real. That is not actually how the Marvel audience viewed that shit. Most people did not watch the show. Most people that did watch that show probably checked out. And at the end of the day, this is not a dub in basically any measurable way. You could say, oh, I really like the show. And for me, that's great because now I'm jiving with Marvel a little bit more, this, that, second, and third. Good for you, buddy. But that's not the reality of the report card for Marvel Studios with this project, bro. Okay? And so what I'm trying to tell you a couple of different things. Number one, Disney in particular, but basically all of the studios, are trying to paint you a picture of things that does not match up with reality. And to be honest with you, I totally understand why. I mean, that's just kind of like the game of social media. But I think we can see that a lot of these comments are bot comments. This whole fucking post is a bot post. The whole narrative around Wonder Woman is a bot narrative. It's not moving the needle at all, which is, by the way, like good in a sense because it means it's actually not hurting anything. But this idea that this is what fans want, this idea that Marvel would just be better off doing more shit like this, no fucking way, dude. Look at a Night of the Seven Kingdoms right now. 13 million viewership average. I can't wait to see what the Nielsen or the Luminate analytics look like for House of the fucking Dragon or for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And it's a low budget show that runs at a half-hour length. That's a spin-off. Okay? That thing is crushing it. That thing is lifting the brand. That thing is moving people. This isn't it. And so once again, I understand that the people involved in this show were so happy to make it. They love the Hollywood movie director bullshit. I totally get it. And I understand that they feel happy that Kevin Feige fought for the show, that Marvel Studios fought for the show, and that they ultimately released the show. But guys, this is not it. They should not be making more shows like this. This is a bad allocation of resources. Stop making shows like this. It is obvious that the audience is not there for it. And I think it only adds to issues and problems that are going on with the brand. A lot of the people that really like Wonderman, y'all were going to show up for the next thing either way. You're not the problem, chat. You're not the problem. You're not the gap in the numbers. Okay? But that gap is growing. And like for people like me, I watched the show. I turned it off after 5 minutes. I do not give a fuck about actors and grips and trying scenes and different styles and motivations that actors. It's a superhero show. It's superheroes, dude. You know what I mean? So likely, frankly, the last time we will ever talk about Wonderman. And I just wanted to say it didn't do well. I think it was a waste of resources. I don't want Marvel to make any more shows like this. And I think now we have the numbers to back all of that up. So anyway, what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? Can't wait for season 2? Dude, if they make season 2, I mean, honestly, I actually would be upset if they made season 2. Like, because of basically everything I just said, I would be upset. I'd be like, how the fuck are you going to justify more resources on this, dude? Like, do you know how bad those numbers are? Those are terrible numbers, dude. Like, those are fucking terrible numbers. And what are you saying? That you want motherfuckers like Jeff Snyder, who literally does not care about superhero shit at all and literally only covers it because other people are interested in it? You want people like that to enjoy? He loves this show, and we're all psyched that Marvel took time, money, energy, resources, and created a show for motherfuckers like Jeff Snyder. No offense, Jeff, but dude, if they make another show for people like you, I'm gonna riot. Fuck you. It's about people like me, dog. I'm the one that buys all this shit. Okay? And I don't give a fuck about Wonder Man. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts, comments? What else you got to say about Wonder Man? I liked Wonder Man, but the amount of action in the last episode should have been the action in the season premiere in the first episode. Okay, that's fair. Can this be the last time we talk about this show? I think this will be the last time we talk about this show, yeah. Because these numbers have to be so bad that they cannot possibly justify making another season of this, yeah. When will the official trailer for Brand New Day and Doomsday come out? Chase, I appreciate the $10, brother. I don't know. And if I did know, I'm damn sure not letting the cat out of the bag for $10. Thank you very much, though. But Wonder Man loves you, Josh? Wonder Man is a complete waste of time, waste of resources, waste of it's terrible. It's the worst thing they've ever done. 100 gifted and he'll tell us? No. Look, I don't know. It's coming soon, man. Relax, chat. Relax. All right. Anything else? I mean, I'll tell you this, chat. I'll throw you a little bone. By your metric, The Wire shouldn't have been made by HBO. Dude, brother. The Wire does not exist in a cinematic universe of superhero shows, brother. Like, dog. Come on, man. Like, bro, that cannot actually be your take. Like, I'm sitting there talking about superhero shit. My man's over here talking about The Wire. Holy shit. Oh, come on, man. Why freak out about Wonder Man? There's plenty of worse in the MCU. Recency bias, I guess. Well, again, it's like, I think there's maybe it's being misinterpreted. I'm not actually criticizing the quality of the show. I'm suggesting that the quality of the show is irrelevant because the concept of the show is incongruent with the goals, immediate and future, of the franchise or the studio. That's what I'm saying. Why are you mad at us? I'm mad at you because this job sort of forces me into a proverbial corner where I have hundreds, if not thousands of voices multiple times yelling or trying to trigger me or just generally complaining or whatever. So you have turned me against you. Stop yelling at us. I will never stop yelling at you, but I will try to not always yell at you. I will occasionally love bomb you so that you feel better about it and you come back to me. You have done that to yourself. Genuine question, Josh. Do you think the project in the MCU from civilization's perspective could work, like how superhero events fuck their lives up, kind of how Invincible has real consequences? Wait, what? Civilians' perspective? Psh, man, no. I mean, I guess it could work. Why do I give a shit about the civilians' perspective, dog? We're reading comics, man. We're reading fucking comic books, dude. I can't wait to open up this comic book and read about this dude sitting at his desk. No! I'm the motherfucker sitting at his desk. I want to read about people punching people through fucking buildings. Holy shit. Chase B24, appreciate the 20. Says, okay, what's your thoughts on the animated Venom movie? Damn, you kind of said that with some sass too, but that's okay. I'm excited for it. It's like R-rated, probably going to be gory, probably going to be fun. Tom Hardy's involvement is curious. Like, I thought they were going in a different direction. Like, what's the deal with that? So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just left over on the contract, or maybe it's more than that. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. And if it is really good, maybe Sony just sticks to the animated stuff. They let Marvel Studios cook the live action stuff. That could actually be good. You know, that could be good. Josh is a victim. Yes, I'm a victim of chat. Hey, Josh, love the stream on Friday and the depth of the theory. Thank you, Darth Diabetes. What a name. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Watching this channel is like being in a toxic relationship. Don't say that. I fucking hate you. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I love you, and you know I love you so much. Rossi says, I had a death in the family. What? And then you deleted it? You can't just... What the fuck? Rossi, I swear to God, we're throwing you into something. And I'm not even trying to be rude. You know what I mean? And maybe somebody else will throw you so that I'm not catching charges or whatever. But brother, we need to apply some inertia to your physical body so that you slam into there must be some kind of impact between Rossi and some kind of a hard object. It doesn't have to be sharp, but like some kind of hard object. We need you. You've earned it. Now take your licks. Tar and feather? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Josh, you need to calm down. Take a deep breath. That's actually good advice. I tell my son that when he gets upset. I say, take a deep breath. You know, and it does actually work. You know, just calm down, take a deep breath and all that. Yeah. Den of Missing Cool Bear Supers. All right, I'm going to go read your super right now, Cool Bear. But I got to tell you, it's one of three things. It's either some bullshit about Shin, some bullshit about the Blob, or some stupid shit about Warhammer not being that great. Now, let's go see. Is it one of those three things? Let's go see what Cool Bear has in store for us, huh? Where's the shit at? Man, I wonder why we didn't get a Shin show instead. Yep, there you go. Okay. All right, bud. Well done. Well done, sir. Yes. Okay, chat. Before we end this segment, I think you all owe me an apology. I think you all basically need to be like, wow, I didn't expect the Wonderman numbers to be that bad. I guess Josh was kind of right when he suggested the audience really isn't there for it, so it's probably a bad use of resources. So I'll wait. You know, you can word it however you want to word it. You know, put it into your own words, but I'm going to need a, I'm sorry. I didn't expect those numbers to be that bad. Josh was right. And maybe Marvel should stop making shows like this in any particular order. However you need to pull that together. You just need to relax your face, Josh. Yeah, when was that? I remember that. When somebody's like, you need to relax your face. And it fucking sent me, dude. It fucking sent me. Oh, I was raging out. When was that? What? Maddie, you got it wrong, bud. I'm sorry that Warhammer sucks so much. Jesus. Wonderman was right. What? Wonderman fans love Andor? Yeah, they probably do, yeah. Rivals, LMAO? Oh, it was Rivals? Okay, yeah. Was that on the, was that for the, was that for the subathon? Because there's that one part of the subathon where I was like, somebody's like 5 wins in 9 hours doesn't really seem good or something like that. And I was like, hey, don't fucking say that, like I lost it. Remember I sent you the Hedge Knight comic 2 years ago? Amazon reprinted the first two. However, Random House owns the third one, Mystery Hedge Knight, or the Mystery Knight, and they are not printing it, so eBay is selling it for crazy money. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have that. I'll go look at that. I have that in a pile. Maybe I'll read it off of that then. That's awesome. Have I gotten back into Rivals? Yes. I've been playing a little Rivals. I haven't played in a couple days, but yeah, I played a little Rivals. Yeah. Didn't you play better after that, though? I mean, maybe. Josh, you are wrong. Each episode of the show was 27 minutes or shorter, so therefore each episode got a lot more views than you claimed. Buddy, Nate, I'm not wrong. It would have looked way worse if they were over a half hour, okay? But you're talking about over 4.5 hours of content, right? Because it's, what, 8 episodes? So I guess 3.5. Wait, no. If they're a half hour piece, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 hours. 4 hours of content. Do you not understand what I'm saying, Nathan? Like, I'm actually, like, genuinely asking. Like, do you guys understand the math here? Because, like, I'm actually not wrong. These numbers are terrible. Like, it makes a big difference? It really doesn't make that big of a difference, bud. Like, abysmally bad numbers. Josh is always right, and we should show him more praise for the fact that he graces us with his presence on streams. There you go, Cool Bear. Much better. Rossi says, I had a death in the family. It made me think about just how lucky I am to have Josh and this community around me. It's giving me so many great memories and friends. Sorry, YouTube glitched. Oh, it's all good, buddy. Well, I'm sorry about the death in the family, man. That shit happens, but it is tough. And, you know, I was reflecting, too, on the community and stuff, and I am very grateful for it. I mean, you know, I talk a lot of crap, and you guys are a fucking lot to deal with, especially you, Rossi, you in particular. God damn. But I am ultimately grateful for it, and we have had a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like, we've had a lot of fun. So, hell yeah. 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 So, look, again, the thing about Wonderman is, like, the numbers are truly bad. Like, if you really look at those numbers, guys, it's fucking bad. Like, it's really, really bad. And I think that just, like, and that's the best shot. It's not like we're going to rediscover Wonderman in a couple of years and everybody's going to go fucking watch it. No, this is it. This is its one chance to pop. It's one chance to do really well. And it didn't do it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we liked it. I'm glad you liked it. I don't want to rain on your parade. I'm glad you liked it. I just want to point out that I'm right and that you liking it doesn't matter and that I'm right and they should listen to everything I say. Okay. Woo! Nobody gave it a chance. That's probably true, actually. But again, that's not really my fault. And I think if they had made a show that was more comic booky, maybe people would give it a little bit more of a chance. But yeah. 4 people liked it. Oh, I bet more than 4 people liked it, but it didn't move the needle, guys. Like, again, and I really think that better than Born Again. I mean, we don't know that for sure. I actually think Born Again probably did better than Wonderman for sure. But we'll see. There's trickery in the numbers, right? So here's what's interesting is, like, if it's possible Wonderman will chart and Daredevil didn't. But if you really look at those numbers, what if every single episode of Daredevil was probably at around 400 million minutes watched, which is probably like what it was, right? Then this show, Daredevil, did, I mean, so many more people watched Daredevil. So many more people. But because it was only 400 million minutes watched every week and maybe teetered, it never breaks into top 10. Like, does that make sense? So, like, do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like, I'm a little concerned. Like, the amount of people that don't understand the math and what I'm saying here is a little concerning. Do you understand how bad the numbers are for Wonderman? Like, it's really bad, dude. It's really bad. It's like really, really bad. And I'm just not sure if that's coming across. The binge helped it. Yeah, of course. That's the only reason it has that many minutes in 10 days is because it all came out at once. I mean, you've only said it like 42 times. You're right, Adam, but should it have been 43 perhaps? Because I'm a little confused as to why nobody seems to understand the raw numbers. I mean, numbers are pretty, like, the reason numbers are so cool is because they're a derivative of logic. Like, numbers are a thing, like, you know, the numbers don't lie. Like, there's actually some truth in that. Like, there's a reason why we like numbers. Josh, we don't agree. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyways, here's the thing. It doesn't matter, guys, because it's over. They dropped it all at once. This will be the last time we talk about it. I was right. You were wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm also right about how Star Wars is cooked. A lot of these other franchises are dying. And it's time to embrace Warhammer, okay? So, tomorrow night at 6 p.m., our very first Let's Get Into Warhammer Together stream, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. We're going to do a whole stream dedicated to Warhammer. I'm going to talk about my journey into Warhammer. I've been into the hobby 3 or 4 years now. I came in at the end of 9th. I watched how it evolved into 10th edition. We're about to get 11th edition. So I'm going to talk about what it's like to get into the Warhammer hobby. I'm going to try to help you guys get into Warhammer a little bit more. And we'll talk about what you should do if you are getting into Warhammer right now with a new edition looming. Like, what should you do? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, speaking of cool shirt. Hey, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, it's the evolution of man into a space marine. It's pretty cool. So, hell yeah, dude. Josh, why is Twin Lance so fucking busted? Okay, it's a great question, Adam. Let's pull it up. I was going to talk about this tomorrow a little bit, but you know what? Since Adam demanded that we discuss this briefly today, let's talk about it. Okay, so here's what Adam's talking about. The Twin Lance, a new Tau model. This thing is fucking ridiculous, dude. Okay, I saw this model this morning, and I was like, dude, Tau are about to light it up. Tau's one of my armies, one of my 3 armies, and I'm really, really happy about it. So let me talk to you about this. Why is this thing so good? It is a 2 model Tau unit, okay? And it has incredible stats, 10-inch movement, a 6 toughness, that's Custodes level toughness, 4-up invuln absurd, 2-up armor save crazy, 8 wounds is crazy, 6-up leadership, 2 OC. I wonder if that's 1 apiece on the models. Probably 2 apiece on the models, so that's 4 OC all day, which is pretty crazy, okay? Now, here's the thing. The main ability that makes this thing fucking absurd is this. The retro thrusters ability. At the end of the fight phase, this unit can either make a normal move of up to 6 inches or a fall back move. So a lot of you don't play Warhammer and you don't understand what that means. That means at the end of every fight phase, this thing gets to move, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. That is going to open up incredible lines of play, like truly unbelievably good lines of play. On top of that, the unit has Scout 8, so it can literally scout move 8 inches either away or into the midfield. It has the ability to get either sustained and ignores cover on models. This thing is fucking ridiculous. This thing is fucking ridiculous. It makes other charges -1 against it. This unit is absurd. Not to mention its weapon profiles are really, really good. It's actually got a melee attack that does a D6 plus 2 damage. Like, what the fuck? 2 damage on some of its other things? Like, this thing is busted, dude. So I can't fucking wait, dude. I cannot wait to get these models. It makes me want to play Tau. Legitimately, this feels like one of the most fun units in the game. It's certainly one of the most fun units in any of my armies, like off the rip. Like literally just off the rip. Put this thing onto the battlefield. You're going to have a good ass time. So yeah, this thing's fucking crazy. So there you go, Adam. That's why it's so busted. And yes, I had that pulled up already. Also is a free shot with the Twin Pulse Blaster, Assault, and Fallback. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, dude, this thing is like legit. This is a legit model. Or 2 legit models, I guess. But yeah. The Dow greater than Tau? How dare you, Carl? I know I'm extremely late to the party, but I just started Arc Raiders, partially due to your influence, and it's fucking amazing. Even better than I expected. I'm addicted. I'm glad you're having a blast, man. Arc Raiders is great. I haven't played a lot recently because I've been playing a lot more Warhammer. But dude, Arc Raiders is awesome. So I'm glad that you're digging it, man. I'm glad you're digging it. Jared, that's an interesting question. I'd probably have to say like the 90s Spider-Man or the 90s X-Men show. Yeah. Probably like 220 maybe. Yeah, it's got to be at least 220. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like 300, to be honest. Like, that's just so much, dude. Like, this thing's probably going to replace one of your Riptides. Josh, I want to take a nap. Can you put on a Warhammer video? How fucking dare you? It'll probably cost $200. It'll probably be $150. Hopefully. Yeah, it's gonna be pricey. Do you watch the NBA? Any hot takes? No, not really, man. I haven't watched the NBA in a long time. It'd be like 100. You think so? You don't think it'll be 150? I don't know, dude. These things are fucking good, bruh. These things are good. What's the size of the base? Is it like a 40 mm? Does it say? It doesn't have the base size on here, does it? I wonder if they're like 50 mm. Because the bigger the model, the better this 12-inch aura is. And the fact that it auras off of technically 2 figures... Oh, wait, no, it's the shields. Oh, it is on both of them. Wow. Wow. This thing's fucking cool, dude. I'm excited. I'm going to probably paint mine red, though. But I am excited nonetheless. All right, guys. So listen up, chat. Listen up, all ye chatters. Good stream today. Excited to get into all this stuff. Wonderman, I know it's controversial. Whatever. It's fine that you guys liked it. But I was right. 7 Kingdoms, Loki show, Fantastic Four, my crazy ass theory. A lot of cool stuff. No stream tomorrow. But guess what? There is a stream tomorrow, actually. Just know one of these streams. We're doing a Warhammer stream at 6 tomorrow evening. Warhammer stream. And then regular streams throughout the week and we are doing our next deep dive on a Marvel movie as we get ready for Doomsday. It's going to be the first X-Men movie, and we're going to do that for members only this Saturday. So try to be there if you can on Saturday morning as we deep dive into the first X-Men movie. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you all for being here. Much love. And as I always say, I hope you, that's right, you, are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. No, how about that one? Yeah, that's better. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man. Oh man. What a happy landing. What a wonderful start to the week. I'm feeling good. Hope you're feeling good too, man. I'm feeling good. I hope you feeling good. So we can feel good together. Oh, man. Can't wait for that Warhammer stream tomorrow. I'm cooking up so much cool shit, man. Oh, dude, we're going to ban half the chat, man. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait for that tomorrow. 6, be there. Be there for that shit. Working on big videos, working on big plans. We're doing it big in 2026 for the Den of Nerds. Buckle up your buttholes, chat. But also get on out of here. So unbuckle them. and get on out here and enjoy yourselves. Do me a favor before you do, though. Actually, make it 2. First, open up your third eye. And also wash out your stinky, stinky butt. Ho! See you later.